If you haven't noticed already, Western society is very anti-masculine. It is anti-male. And this video is not for you guys to drown out your sorrows in alcohol and overdose yourself in pills and narcotics. No, this is not a video for that. It is a video to inform you guys, which is something that you already know, that Western society is anti-male, but it's all good because as long as you know yourself, you'll be okay. Know thyself, because all in all of these anti-masculine messages, all of these anti-male messages, they work so far as you let them. Because guess what? We also have the freedom to deal with who we want to. But in general, we still have to talk about how anti-masculine Western society is. And hell, I'm doing this in June 2025. June is what? Pride Month. And no, this is not going to be a whole segment about the LGBTQ plus and whatever the plus is. I'll let you guys imagine whatever additional degeneracy there is, okay? But this, this no knock on that type of movement. That's no knock on those type of people. But it does kind of show you what type of environment we're in. And it's pretty clear, pretty obvious that the odds are sometimes against men. They are against masculinity. And I'm gonna get into it. This is Tarik Talks. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. So like I said, first, I'm gonna touch on this first. We have the whole LGBTQ community. And like I said, there is nothing wrong with those people. I've met folks that are homosexual that are quite frankly great people. Okay, some of you guys may abhor them and they should all, but a human, their character, you dig, as far as that goes, great people. But the thing about it is, this society encourages men to act more like females than anything else. It's promoted, it's encouraged, it's glorified. This whole emasculation, this whole thing of men switching to the feminine role and liking other men. And this is just one example, because whenever, and even it goes down to a micro level. It goes down to a micro level, meaning it even goes so far as to the interactions that you have on a day-to-day. And like I said, you have the freedom to deal with whoever the hell you want. And at the end of the day, no one's going to stop you from being a man, right? But even with day-to-day interactions, it's like men have to kind of dial it down. They're expected to be this very docile, very submissive type of person, that anything that goes slightly against the agenda is going to be met with resistance and a possible end of your career. Because let's take it down to a workplace. You could say whatever, a lot of women could say whatever the hell they want about men. They could say they're this, they could say they're predatory. You have these HR type of meetings and women's awareness, and even women amongst themselves will talk about men this and men that, and that's completely fine. It'll fly. As soon as a man says something, let a man say one thing, like, and even if it's something that's common sense, like, hey, some jobs, it says on the application, you must be able to lift 100 pounds and more, or 50 pounds or more. Obviously, men would be better suited for this type of job. Am I saying women can't do it? No, I'm not saying that at all. From experience, manual labor jobs that I have had, women always complain about how heavy some shit is, and they always call a man to come and help them lift something. You guys put it down in the comment section if you ever been at work and a woman was like, hey, come and help me out, this is too heavy, right? And sometimes I'll make a joke, you know, me, sometimes I'll make a joke and I'm like, oh, okay, y'all need a strong young man, right? You know, I'll be making a joke. But with that being said, you saying something that is generally true, right? Such as men have more physical capabilities than most women, for the most part. This will land you in a world of trouble, even though when you see it time and time again, something that a man can do easily, a woman will struggle with it, and she'll end up calling the man to come out and help anyway. But yet, it's toxic masculinity, right? Yet, men are constantly shamed until it's time for a lot of these women, especially these women on a more radical feminist side, right? And let me say this. A lot of young ladies out there, you know, they know deep down inside, right? They know deep down inside all of this shit, all this crap that feminism tells them is BS. They know deep down inside men are generally more stronger. They know in a general sense, men are more capable of taking on leadership roles. Generally. Now, I've seen some, you know what I mean? I've seen women in leadership roles. They were great. Okay. No argument there. But in general, those positions are almost always held by a man when we're talking super high level. Why is that? Because men are more capable of handling stuff like that. You put a woman there, she's liable to have a freaking breakdown. Right? You gotta be mentally, you gotta have emotional toughness, a thick skin to deal with some of the stuff that comes with leadership sometimes. Okay? Like I said, no knock. It's just, why would women want to have a role where they would be stressed out more? Here's the thing that baffles me. It's so anti-masculine, but a lot of these young ladies want to take on these tough ass roles. They want to take on roles of military and hard labor. Why would you want that? Right? Why the hell would you want to put yourself in a position where you're working like that? So that in itself doesn't make sense, but yet when the time is right, now they need a man. But any other time, men are expected to shut the hell up. Men have absolutely no rights at certain points. And even on a relationship scale, let me tell you guys something. A lot of these broads feel entitled to cheat. And I'm not even, you know what? I wish I was making this up, but this is how bad this whole feminist, poisonous ideology has reached. These chicks, some of these chicks feel like a man has no right to tell them not to talk to other men while they're in a relationship. Stuff like that. And it's ridiculous. Why would they even feel that that's even appropriate? I'll tell you why. Because their whole lives, they've been told that men should shut the hell up and sit down and let them do anything they want, or else they're toxic. This is why a lot of these bras are single. This is why a lot of these bras are single moms. Real talk. Because at some point you push men too far, you're gonna get a broken society. And the thing about it is, guess who let feminism and guess who let this anti-male sentiment be a thing? Men. See, this is how powerful men are. Even the people that even let this shit happen are men. Trust me, if the men in power didn't want all of these anti-male sentiments to be a thing, and they still wanted it to be like how it was traditionally, oh, it would have stayed. But the powers that be, and you guys know, I've said this before, I'm not pulling out the victim card. Like I said, this isn't some type of victimhood type of a video where I'm like, oh yeah, the Illuminati, and you can't do nothing about it. Okay, I'm giving you guys a balanced view, because at the end of the day, it is up to you how you want to live your life. If you want to live it submissive, if you want to be ashamed to be a man, if you want to turn to these LGBT movements, or you want to cut your thing off, whatever, you go ahead and do that. That's up to you at the end of the day. But the fact is, the powers that be, the men on top, decided, hey, let us convince these men that they are worthless. Let us convince these men that they are powerless. Let's convince them that the chick in a relationship wears the pants, even though she's physically weaker, right? Even though she's looking to him for protection. Because when you think about it, the woman wears the pants ideology, it's counterintuitive to what is actually going on. Because when somebody comes in the house, first person she's going to be looking to is you. So by default, that means you need to be the one that's in charge ultimately, because at the same time, I'm not one of these guys that are like some kind of dictator and believes that women should just sit in a corner and just have no opinion. That's foolish too. That's the other extreme, right? But that's not the extreme we're in now, is that the man needs to just shut the hell up and he needs to sit in a corner, right? But like I said, with the whole thing of the man needs to be the protector, automatically that means that he has the say so. But that's not what we're experiencing now. But like I said, a lot of guys are just saying, F this, I'm not doing this. That's why you see a lot of these MGTOW movements. That's why you see a lot of these monk modes. Because a lot of guys just feel like society is screwing them over. They feel like being by themselves is better. And now, not to get too political, we are possibly facing a war between Iran and Iraq, right? Or excuse me, I don't even want to get into the whole Iraq-Afghanistan campaign of 2003 till 2012, or whenever the hell we pulled out. I don't even want to get into that freaking abomination of a event. I don't want to even get into that, because that was so pointless. That was so pointless. And it accomplished, if you look back on it, it accomplished absolutely nothing. Look at where Afghanistan and Iraq are now. Same crappy countries with the same poverty levels, probably even worse. Country was left worse off, pardon me. And now we have this war between Iran and Israel. Now they want men. Now they're like, oh yeah, oh, if you're manly, you're gonna join the military. No, hold on. Y'all were throwing up these rainbow flags, telling men to be more soft and effeminate, and telling men to like other men. Because like I said, the powers that be, they benefit from men being weak, because they can control the what the hell is going on. They're the ones now that are in control. So it's really a power play. It was really a power play to convince men that they're a bunch of hoes, to act like a bunch of P words, so they won't resist this foolishness that's going on. But like I said, a lot of men are starting to wake up. They're starting to be like, man, I'm not even with this. I'm going to start doing my own thing. And you know what? I don't even want to date. And for the guys who don't want to date, hey man, I applaud you. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, because that I could make a whole other video about how messed up dating for men is. How jacked up, how much of a clusterfuck it is. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.